What is up guys, I'm back again with another video, and there's been a lot of tech released in 2014, but some of them weren't as good as the others. So in this video we'll just be going over the top 5 tech failures of 2014. Number 1 was the Amazon Fire phone. So the hype for this phone was extraordinary. There was a lot of hype before it was released, and after it was released the disappointment and letdown was just about as much as how extraordinary the hype was. Because the phone was, to start off, it was a flagship price. It had a 720p screen with some kind of 3D gimmicky features. And 720p right now against the competition is considered low res, because all the other flagship phones have like 1080p screens or even 2K screens. The Firefly feature was impressive, but basically everything about this phone that made it special could have easily been implemented into an application that could have been released to all the other Android phones out there, which would be compatible with it. So basically building an entire phone for this specific reason was a bit unnecessary, and that's why it makes the list on one of the top 5 tech failures of 2014. Number 2 was the Sony hack. So a lot of personal information and movie scripts were leaked, and it's alleged that the hack originated in North Korea and had something to do with the release of the movie The Interview. But in my opinion, this could have easily been a marketing gimmick just to raise hype for the movie. So whether you think of it as a marketing gimmick or a legit hack, I think it definitely makes the list as one of the top 5 tech failures of 2014. Next up is Bendgate. So if you haven't seen my previous video on Bendgate specifically, I'll leave it linked in the description below, or I'll leave it somewhere on the video in an annotation. But basically, after the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus were released, there were a couple complaints of the iPhone 6 Plus units bending in some people's pockets. And this received a lot of hype, and it became a huge trend all over the internet. But the fact is that any smartphone or any sheet of aluminum this thin would easily bend if you actually try to bend it. And just the amount of hype that this little problem received was just huge, and it definitely, in my opinion, is one of the top 5 tech failures of 2014. Next up is the iOS 8.0.1 update. So this rendered most of the iPhones basically useless to some people because it broke cell service and Touch ID. What made it even worse is that trying to downgrade back to the previous version of iOS actually rendered the device useless, because you couldn't unlock the screen, you couldn't even type in your password to get into the phone itself. However, Apple quickly released an update and fixed most of the problems people were having. Finally on the list is something you're probably expecting from the time you saw the title of the video, and it's the iPad Mini 3. So if you don't know what's the difference between the iPad Mini 2 and the iPad Mini 3, it's just the fact that the iPad Mini 3 is available in gold and also comes with Touch ID. Other than that, the internals are exactly the same as the iPad Mini 2, the screen is the same resolution, it's just as fast, the camera is just as good, and you're paying essentially $100 more than the iPad Mini 2 just for Touch ID and a gold color if you want it in gold. So in my opinion, I would have really rather if Apple upgraded the iPad Mini 3 internals just a bit, not as much as the iPad Air 2 compared to the iPad Air, but at least give it some sort of an internal update from the iPad Mini 2. So for the $100 extra, you would probably get your money's worth. But if you really like Touch ID, I guess you can spend $100 extra over the iPad Mini 2 and probably get yourself an iPad Mini 3. But it definitely makes the list as one of the top 5 tech failures of 2014. So that's about it for this video. If you liked it, feel free to give it a huge thumbs up below. And if you do want to be notified when I upload future content, feel free to hit that subscribe button below as well. So before I go, I just want to say I hope each and every one of you had a Merry Christmas, and I do want to wish you a Happy New Year, and I look forward to bringing you much more content in 2015. So again guys, that's been it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.